Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Where we continue to follow the capture and killing of Osama bin Laden now.
Those are just some of the scenes overnight as thousands of Americans gathered in celebration of Osama bin Laden's death.
Former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill says he has thought about the mission every day since that May Day in 2011.
From multiple conversations you had with Rob O'Neill over the past year and a half, how'd you get
access? And you described that his head kind of exploded when you hit him.
I actually hit him 3 times because I shot him twice when he was standing and once on the ground.
That is the fucking American badass right there.
We are not going for fame and we are not going for bravado. We are going for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school on a Tuesday morning, and then 45 minutes later she jumped to her death out of a skyscraper.
If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator.
I'm Rob O'Neill, and this is the Operator Podcast. Welcome back to the Operator Podcast. We're on episode 154, and I appreciate you joining me. I'm your host, Robert J. O'Neill, former U.S. Navy SEAL. Had a lot of fun so far. Been talking it up a little bit about current events, but today is going to be great because I'm going to interview Tom Ruby, a former Navy SEAL. Former a lot of things. MMA fighter, currently an author, played college football, high school wrestler, MVP of his team, and his partner in crime, James Pomerantz, who assisted him writing a book, The Breacher's Playbook, which is badass. It's a novel based on Tom's career as a SEAL, as a fighter, and then it's a good revenge thing, a Taken vibe. So we're going to get into that today with them and talk about the Breacher's Playbook. Going to be a lot of fun. I need to talk first about sponsors of the show. I do mention Hexclad a lot. Talk about it pretty much every week. But they sponsored the show, and the holiday season's here. I've been in the kitchen cooking quite a bit too. It's where it all goes down. You got to be real. Just finished up with Thanksgiving, but we got more stuff, more game days, more big roasts, endless sides. You know, Christmas season, holiday season, and if your current pans panic at the high heat or burn the gravy, it's time for an upgrade. That's where Hexclad comes in, as always. The cookware that's as serious about performance as you are about carving the turkey like you did, the turkey coming up, the goose, whatever you have, because these pans, they look awesome, but they give you the perfect sear, crazy durable, easy cleanup. You don't need any babysitting. They're stainless steel tough, non-stick as you can get, toxic-free. And again, they look pretty damn good to sit on your stovetop when the whole crew is over and you need to brag about how you run a kitchen. Their 6-piece, 12-piece sets from Hexclad are the ultimate gift. You can give it to yourself, give it to the chef that's in your life. And whether you're starting fresh or going big, these bundles will cover everything you're making, every dish, every craving, every holiday spread. The 6-piece set that Hexclad offers is a perfect starter kit for any kitchen. 3 of their most popular pans with matching lids, giving you everything you need to handle daily cooking with ease. The 12-piece set is the ultimate all-in-one cookware upgrade. 3 versatile pans, 2 saucepans, a family-size stock pot, each with its own lid, and every tool that you're going to need to cook for a crowd, to master everything, any recipe. Hexclad pans truly check every single box when it comes to picking your cookware, and just cool as hell, so you should get it. It looks awesome. This season, don't just shop for gifts. Give the upgrade every kitchen deserves. Where are you going to get this? Hexclad.com. 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 Cook like a pro all holiday, all Christmas, all season. Treat yourself. Or give the gift of cookware that delivers for every meal, every gathering, every season. So that's Hexclad.com. Hexclad.com. And when they ask you how you heard about them, tell them the operator sent you. They're Hexclad.com. Go get some serious cookware. Okay, here we are. I'm with Tom Ruby and James Pomerantz. This is an exciting podcast. You're listening to the Operator Podcast, obviously, right now. I'm your host, Robert J. O'Neill, former Navy SEAL. Tom is a former Navy SEAL as well. And James is with Tom, and they're working on an exciting book. Hey, before I start yapping my face off, welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, Rob. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Rob. Happy to be here.
We ran into each other at the Uncommon Grit golf event in Notre Dame. We were in South Bend, correct?
That's right.
That's pretty badass. And then I was listening to you guys. I spoke with you both, sat with you for a while. I listened to Tom speak about his past, and it's fascinating. Navy SEAL. Can we just start there, Tom, with where you grew up and why Navy?
Yeah, sure. Well, I watched Navy SEALs, and Charlie Sheen sold me on becoming a Navy SEAL, and that was it.
There we go. That's all right.
And then I decided that's what I'm going to do, and I did it. And there was nothing more to it. All right. I grew up in Chicago, south suburbs area, Oak Lawn. Pretty regular middle class kid. I definitely wanted to join the service always. That was kind of one of my top 3 choices as a kid: the service, a doctor, or an actor. Those were my 3 as a kid. And
that's not a bad lineup. I like that.
Not bad at all. And so I fulfilled one. The other 2 I might be out of the book, so it's all right. I got plenty of things keeping me busy now. I don't think being a doctor's in the mix, but
Well, now what year was that? Okay, so when you said you graduated, when did you graduate high school?
I graduated 2000 at a school called Andrean, Maryville, Indiana.
That's right. Yeah, I saw that now because the movie Navy SEALs I think came out in '89.
Yeah.
Would you see that in high school or before high school?
Probably before high school. I think I watched it really close to when it came out. Of course, I might only have been 10 years old when I saw that, but come on, man. Have you watched that movie again? Have you seen it recently?
It's the most accurate movie, not only a movie about the military, it's the most accurate movie I've ever seen.
I think so.
Yeah. You know that when Charlie
I think so.
When they're at the Chiefs wake at the bar, when he almost puts the dude in sort of an arm bar and then kisses him on the mouth. You know, that's the Ready Room, right by Dam Neck in Virginia. That's my old hangout.
Yeah. And I think you did that same move on a guy. I thought I heard that armbar and then.
Well, so yeah, I got put in an armbar by a chick and then a dude kissed me. That's how that went down. But shit. Okay, that obviously the greatest movie ever made, the jump off the bridge. But and the armbar, you did a lot of stuff before the Navy. Can we talk about MMA and like wrestling? You were a state champion wrestler or the captain wrestler.
No state champ. No
state champ. I'm sorry, I'm just putting shit out there. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's all right. I wrestled in high school, and then I kind of worked my way into mixed martial arts. The UFC was big at the time. I mean, there was nowhere to go as a wrestler. But there was room in grappling if you could transition over to kind of Brazilian jiu-jitsu and some mixed martial arts. So, I mean, I was watching that stuff at the time, and I decided that was the route I was going to take. I was going to find my way to the UFC. And I just began training and found a gym locally in Portage and signed up for a couple early fights, which we talk about, in pretty good detail in the Breacher's Playbook. My very first fight, lining the first fight up, what that felt like, what it looked like, walking into the arena, having your name called, standing in the stairwell, waiting for the fight prior to complete. As that fight completes, they call your name and you're like, holy shit, I'm going to actually have to do this, aren't I? There's no backing out of this thing now.
How long? No, okay. So I'm sorry about saying the wrestling. So MVP of the wrestling team in high school. How long? How long were you wrestling? Like before you graduated?
I lettered all 4 years. So my freshman year I lettered. I wrestled 6th and 7th grade. That's it. And then high school.
Any MMA during high school? Any Muay Thai? Anything like that?
No, nothing.
So you just got into that gym because I'm reading your bio and that's awesome. That how long were you training in the gym before you did MMA? Because I'm not.
Listen, I was convinced that I wanted to. I'd always just been kind of a brawler kind of guy, just out having fun, drinking, getting an occasional fight here and there.
That happens.
A little bit of regulating. I always was sticking up for the little guy, so it was pretty easy to find fights when you're out hanging around with bullies here and there. So I decided I wanted to become a MMA fighter, and I searched for the closest local gym I could find, and I called the guy, and he says, "Yeah, come on in tomorrow." I said, "Okay, all right." And so I pull up to the place the next night, and I'm sitting in the parking lot, and windows are all steamed out. You can't even see inside. And all of these behemoth guys come walking out at the end of training. And at that point, I almost turned around and walked away.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like moments from being like, forget this. I'll go back to carpentry. So I walk in there and these guys say, "Hey, you got shorts on?" And I said, "Yeah, I got some." And they just begin to beat my ass for an hour and a half.
Was it all disciplines, or do they just get you on the mat and throw you around? Because I
They
mean, if
were
you're a wrestler, you're gonna
two
have a good foundation.
brothers. No, I never met or matched up against anybody that had that kind of static strength. So, you get into the grappling world. There's guys like Dean Lister. So I rolled with
Oh
Dean
yeah.
Lister one time,
Oh
right? A
shit.
couple times, and this guy
That's
just has.
no, not for nothing, but that's kind of jumping in the deep end, right? He's like one of the best in the world.
This is many years later, right? That I
Yeah.
rolled with Dean Lister, right? So, but they had the same kind of grown man I would call strength, where everything they did, it felt like they were like anaconda choking you. There were no gaps anywhere. They could just seal everything up, and you just felt like I got nowhere to go. No matter how fast or quick or good of a wrestler you were, it was like these guys could back me into a corner and just squeeze me against the wall, and I'm like, all my skills are gone. All I got to do is survive now. And you just go into pure survival mode. And they would just switch in. These two brothers over and over again say, Justin, come on in. Justin would come in and kick my ass for 5 or 6 or 7 minutes. And then they say, all right, Keith, you're coming in. And I survived. And they said, at the end, they said, you're welcome back if you want. Come back tomorrow.
Oh, that's your first. That's episode 1, man. That's the pilot.
That was my initiation, right?
What are you thinking? Like, because obviously a 4-year letterman in high school wrestling, a great foundation for balance. Just to get squoze like that. What is your initial? Because I'm just picturing like you have you're a little intimidated walking in the first day, then they squeeze you. Like, what is your process? Like, you need to start over, just quit.
Well, it's like everything we do. I just had to walk in the door and get started. I mean, there was 100 possible scenarios in my head until the moment that I stepped on the mat. Now it's just, I'm either going to survive this thing or I'm not, right? I'm either going to say, all right, I've had enough, guys. And they're going to say, well, that was fun. Don't come back again. Or I'm going to go as long as they want me to go. And at the end, hopefully they say, come on in, stay. I didn't even realize it was an interview. I thought I was going in for just a regular MMA class session. But no, these guys were like, no, we're not letting anybody in here that we don't want. We're going to vet this guy, and it's going to make sure it's going to be painful.
Do you think that's a good idea? Because it's like, in my limited experience, people get what's called the blue belt blues. Like, you learn to a certain, like, start off, you don't know shit, you get beat up by white belts, you get a blue belt, and then you kind of don't think you're learning anymore. Is that sort of a for day one of the interview that you don't even know is an interview, or is it like I'm just going to learn new shit? I hope I'm making sense with my question.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. In that 1 hour and a half session, I realized that there were so many things that I had no idea about.
Cool.
Right. I had stepped into a realm that I didn't even know existed. Right. I thought wrestling was what I experienced in high school, at a pretty high level in high school. What I came to find out is that there's a whole nother level of this.
Yeah.
I mean, there are guys with technique and strength and the ability to hold you down and that I didn't even know existed. So I was in awe as anybody else. So no, as soon as I finished that, I was like, dude, I am so sold.
Cool.
I have to know what these guys know. I gotta be able to do what these guys can do, because it was amazing.
That's cool, because I like how you said I went through the door. I went through the shot. That's just, that's cool.
Yeah.
What was day number 2 like? I mean, I'm sure they're gonna eventually get to technique.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I was able to get out of bed the next day. So I was training hard at that time, right? I was also, of course, becoming a Navy SEAL was in the back of my mind, and I'll be honest, in a lot of ways, my trip through mixed martial arts was preparation for going to Buds. And I don't know how you felt when you were contemplating becoming a Navy SEAL and signing the paperwork in a recruiting office and leaving your home and going through this thing where most likely you're not going to make it, right? How challenging and difficult it was to make that decision, and what you needed to do to prepare yourself to be able to feel confident to go through it. Well, that's really what I was looking at. When I look back at my life, that mixed martial arts period was preparation for Buds, for becoming a Navy SEAL. Of course I thought I was going to become a UFC fighter, and maybe that's what I had to think and believe in order to get myself to walk through that door. Right. That was my plan, and that's where I wanted to be and where to go. And I needed that sort of carrot. But ultimately, that's what prepared me for that day when I finally said, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I want to go serve my country, and I want to go do what I, had been wanting to do for a really long time.
Badass. And we'll get into more of what you've done, because I heard about a lot of it when we were BSing in Indiana. But just more on the fighting before we get into the Navy. How long were you training before your first professional fight?
I was less than a year.
Shit.
Yeah. So everybody advised me against it. Like,
yeah, I'm ready to advise you against it right now.
Well, I don't want to diminish any of the guys that I fought and trained with, back in 2002. But it was a different sport back then too. I mean, the technical elite level athlete that is a mixed martial artist today is a bit different than what we saw in 2002. So, when we think about it that way, we got to remember, we got to take it back to that era. And we can see what it was that I was looking at and where kind of that technical level stood.
It's almost,
I thought, I was just convinced that I could do it. It was just this sort of, it was almost a delusional certainty that I had this ability and capability to get in a ring and fight one of these guys.
What's it? Okay, so the first day in the gym's tough. You sort of mentioned walking down to the octagon. What's the first fight, training for a year, MMA, and this is your first professional fight? What are the butterflies, or what's the calm? What's the feeling?
It's the most terrifying feeling you're gonna ever experience.
I was hoping you were gonna say that.
I don't know. I want you to tell me a story of a time where you were that terrified. It's like, where have you been where it's just like, it's impossible to describe, really, right? You're in an arena with 1,000 people. And this is old. This was Cicero, South Side-ish Chicago.
Yes.
I'm in this little arena. I'm in this little arena, and they had the ringside seating was literally like they could touch the fence. That's what you could. Yeah. People were grabbing the fence. That's how visceral it was. That's how close this was. There was like people spit where you're yelling. I could feel beer was being spit on me. I could smell metastasized alcohol. Like all of that, like going into this ring. 1,000 people all the way up in this auditorium. It was just, it's an amazing feeling. It's a terrifying one. But it's one of the most.
Is that good or bad? A lot of things I think with too much adrenaline, it might throw you off. But with a fight, is it different? Or
it was terrible and not good for fighting.
Well, but you won. So what
I did win. But the very first thing I did was this guy was a boxer.
Okay.
And
I just back up a little bit. I think I know the answer, but you're a wrestling background, a year of martial arts. You're fighting a boxer. Obviously, he's stand up. What is your plan? What is your ideal plan? The perfect plan?
So I was advised heavily to take it to the ground. And of course I agreed because I didn't want to argue at all. But I had decided I wanted to stand up with the guy and see if I could box.
Fuck yeah.
I had been training stand up really hard, and I was still really terrible at it. But I had to see where I was at. I was like, I got to know if I can stand up.
No, that's cool. It might have, maybe fight prep for the actual fight would have been a better time to see how good your boxer.
It would have been a good idea.
Well, that's just cool because I love a good boxer. Just because that to me, a boxer is like when you hear of like old man or dad strength, or you're not going to whatever. If you get in a fight with a boxer, he's going to make you look, if you're not a boxer too, like I'm talking a street fight, he's going to make you look silly. Yeah. Like the dudes that go into a boxing gym to come off the street. I'm a street fighter. Let's see how I do sparring. That's ballsy. But how'd that end up going? So you go out there, you want to box them. What?
Yeah. So the bell rings and we're moving around, kind of testing each other out, and I got my hands up and I think, you know what, I'm going to throw this 1-2 combo, right? Let's just see if I can land this thing, right? So I kind of give him like a little bit of a shot decoy, and I drop my level a little, I close the distance and I come back up and I throw 1-2, right?
Seems simple.
It seems simple, really good. And of course, right, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to come straight in on him. Not going to make any adjustments whatsoever. I don't even know what happened. He stepped to the side and my nose is broken.
Damn. Yeah.
One punch.
Yeah.
We're less than 10 seconds in to my first cage fight. My nose is broken. Blood goes flying everywhere. I'm spared all over my hands. I'm stumbling back into the fence, and he just comes in, and I just got to clinch up, and I just
You gotta go to the ground. That's the point.
I spent the whole first period just praying that I could get this guy to the ground.
Oh shit! That's like the point of the fight when both fighters realized which one was going to win standing up.
Yeah, I know, right? We became one-dimensional for sure.
And so you got him to the ground, that round, or did you take? No,
we ended up kind of staying on the cage. I never was able to take him down. I spent the whole time just kind of trying to recover from that one single shot. It was.
So what's it like there too? Was it broken?
It was broken, yeah.
So how do you? I mean, that's obviously going to change a lot of the way you're going to fight. How are you defending that now? Now that you need to go to the ground? What are you thinking? What's in your head?
So same thing. I just I couldn't breathe out of my nose, so that was that changed things a lot. So now I have blood streaming out of my nose. We get to the I'm in my corner. They plug my nose up pretty good. He says my nose is broken. He goes, what did I tell you? And I said, yeah. You said don't box with the guy. And he goes, what are you going to do now? And I go, I'm going to take it to the ground. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to do some ground fighting after this.
So that's it. That's all I could do. I just worked him into the cage. I covered up and took some shots, worked it into the cage, and went to a clinch, and eventually was able to take him down in the second period. I did win the second period. I wasn't for sure certain at the time if I had won the second, but I thought I did. And then went into the third, exact same. I had to use the same strategy. I thought maybe it was 1-1 rounds, but I didn't know. I went in thinking I was going to have to TKO the guy most likely.
The first round, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't have much for submissions either at this point yet either. So I was pretty much going in there with wrestling and just pure grit, and that's about it. A little bit of ground and pound, and so I did end up winning that third period and won with the decision. So
good. And then you ended up going 7-0.
7-0, yeah.
What did it get? Yeah. Did you get more confident?
Oh yeah.
Like better. I mean, obviously with the win, you're getting confident, but I mean, as far as like this guy's a boxer, maybe we don't try to box him off.
No. I realized that these people in the ring were really serious, and they knew.
Good. Well, that's cool.
They knew what they were doing, and whatever their game was, they were good at it. So I'd be best to stay away from it.
Did you listen to your coaches more too?
Oh yeah. I was just a kid, so just a tough, cocky kid. So it was really, I learned a lot. I matured a ton while I was there. Those coaches are good buddies, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good that you're still with them too. Hey, James, I want to jump over too, because obviously we're going to get into the Breachers Playbook and how you guys met. But I mean, both y'all stories you have so many different avenues. I'm reading about you own 10 nightclubs. With the Andretti's like sports bar, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And how does it, because I am getting to a point, but like, how do you get into something like that? You're writing while you're in Chicago, owning 10 nightclubs.
Well, I went to college originally for journalism, and I always thought I could write. And then while I was in school, I started tending bar, and I figured, well, this is a great living. I get to sleep late. I make lots of money, and I meet girls every night. So let's do this for a living. And, ended up worked for some bars downtown Chicago on Division Street and that River North area. And then when I was 25, I opened my own place.
So you opened your own place at 25?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I had a partner who was in the restaurant business. And he was the back of the house partner, and I was the front of the house partner. And, my dad fronted me some stocks to put up as collateral, and my other partner put up his house. And, 9 out of 10 restaurant bars fail the first year. So
that's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
We rolled the dice. It was in our hometown of Northbrook, Illinois, or the bar was in Glenview, just north of Chicago. And, we were just out of high school, and our friends came in, and it got to be a popular place, so it worked out. And then while I was there, um, I ended up reaching out to. I had been involved in martial arts for years, and this was pre-internet. Got a hold of Steven Seagal's agent, sent him this crazy letter about opening a bar in Chicago with his name, and never in a million years thought I'd hear back.
Right.
A few months later, I got a call from an attorney, and they wanted to vet me, and Seagal was interested, and I flew out, was on the set of Out for Justice, met Seagal and his team, and shockingly, he agreed to do the thing. So I ended up.
What was that conversation like? He'd gotten word from his agent before that you were interested in opening a restaurant with him, or
yeah, I sent his agent a business plan.
Okay.
And I lied through the whole thing, said I had a group of investors and a location, right downtown Chicago. We already figured out a menu, and when I flew out to California and met him on the set of Out for Justice, his business manager said, well, Steven never signs anything without $150,000 up front before we proceed. And I said, well, then we're out. Okay, thanks for the trip. It was cool visiting a movie set. And he said, go wait outside. We were in his tour bus. And I was waiting outside talking to his bodyguards. And then he came back outside and he goes, go tell your group in Chicago that we'll put this thing together. And here's some contact names here in California. Anything you need, let me know. And he was cool at that point.
Did you ever find out if it was his manager just skimming off the top, or did Steven Seagal actually say, I want $150,000? Because I've noticed in a lot of deals, you run into their business manager, who's usually a childhood friend or a buffer or whatever, that's looking out for his best interest, but he's getting a percentage also.
I never found out for sure, but everything about that deal, his production partner was a guy named Jules Nassau, and he was convicted years later as being part of the Gambino crime family, and he had ended up suing Steven Seagal in 1999, I think, for backing out of a 4-picture deal. And he was at this meeting when I met Seagal.
Oh, really?
On the set of that movie. So I don't know. The whole thing kind of was a blur. It didn't last very long, but it was interesting and fun.
Did Seagal come to the bar a lot, or many times?
Well, Seagal came to the grand opening. The deal was, he had to appear 4 times a year at the restaurant, the bar, and he only appeared at the grand opening, and the business only lasted 6 months. So there was some, the people who owned the building we were in went bankrupt, and then some of the deals that we made with them fell through. And
what was the theme?
It was a martial arts theme. It was big, 8-foot posters and cutouts of Seagal from all the movies that he had: Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, and Out for Justice hadn't come out yet. He sent me a bunch of stuff he was an Aikido instructor in Japan, and came over to the US and started training like Steve McQueen and Michael Orvitz, and that's how he got into the movies.
Did you like him? Was he a decent dude?
He was arrogant as shit. I mean, he came into Chicago for the grand opening with more security than the president traveled with.
Mm-hmm. That's
he had, he had some fans that had threatened him, and a lot of these guys, that a lot of people want to pick fights with like Seagal or Chuck Norris or Van Damme. So they have a lot of security around him. But Seagal, when he came to Chicago, we picked him up at O'Hare with 3 limousines so he could decoy anybody that was trying to follow him. It was so nuts.
Yeah, it's like, Jesus, fucking Al Qaeda's after Seagal too. That's why.
Yeah,
hey, look, I'm not in the restaurant business, but if this is me personally, I'm a recipe for success. If I open a martial arts flavored restaurant, I'm serving the knuckle sandwich, no doubt about it. That's a fucking game winner right there, man. Could be right.
Well, it was interesting, but I lost sight of the business end, and I got wrapped up in the Hollywood end of it. We'd fly out there, my wife and I, and meet him at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and he was married to Kelly LeBrock at the time. So
shit.
It was a surreal kind of thing.
Now, did you meet her? Because she's that's weird science right there, man.
Yeah, no, we never met her. She didn't come to the grand opening, and we had 600 people at the grand opening.
I'm sorry, you lost me, Kelly LeBrock. I'm over here trying to calculate how many minutes I have total in life holding her poster up with one hand. But the writing. What are you getting? What are you writing now? Because when's your first novel? Or were you writing novels?
What am I writing now? Or
no. When you started writing, because you're writing restaurant bartending.
Yeah, and I always wanted to write. Everybody thinks they have the great American novel in their head, and I did too. And I actually started writing it in 1999, and my first novel was called The Flathead Saloon and Cat House.
Okay.
And it took place in Chicago and Flathead County, Montana.
I've been up there. I'm from Montana.
Yeah, Flathead Lake, Glacier National Park.
It's a little trivia for you here because I'm from Butte, Montana. Butte, Montana, as a mining town, had electricity before Chicago.
Really?
Yeah, just a little trivia that I hope I'm right on. Tom, we're done fighting 7-0, 7 ass whippings. How many knockouts?
2.
That's awesome. What were those? Can you explain those? Just walk through those. What did you kick to the face or what was that?
One was a knee/kick. Yeah. And the other one was just a strike, right hook strike.
What's that like in the octagon to knock someone out with a right hook?
Yeah, that's the best thing. That's the second best feeling.
I've never been in a
the first best feeling is not getting knocked out with a right hook, right?
I was gonna say, because in my limited experience with like bar fights, the worst feeling for me was throwing a punch and like realizing it just didn't work. It's like
it didn't go. Yeah,
it's gonna be bad. Is it still too late to buy this chick a drink?
Can I reverse this at all? Yeah, no.
So 7-0 construction and then the Navy. It's on. You're thinking about SEAL. Saw the movie. What's how does it work with the Navy? You go to the recruiter. What do you do?
Yeah, walk into a recruiting office. I think I went through 3 recruiting offices, and I was convinced that they were the initial gatekeepers of going to Bud. Yeah, right.
They'll tell you that.
They're not. Yeah, they won't give you any information. They won't connect you with a SEAL mentor, or whoever the guys are that supposedly get you the contract. So I was convinced that they had decided he's not the guy. And I walk into the third. And I'm still buddies actually with this guy that's the recruiter.
Cool.
He saw me and he said, "I think this guy's got it." And he's the one that really, really pushed me and got me connected with the SEAL contracts, got me running my PSTs. We worked out a bunch together. And then, of course, eventually we're able to sign a BUDS contract and a SEAL contract for class 264. Class 264.
Do they do that now with the recruiter? They tell you which right around the time you're going to be getting to BUDS if you get there?
Man, I don't think they did.
What it look like for you? So you go to Great Lakes. Are you in the? Because I know I think they do a pipeline now. Did you do the pipeline?
They did. I was pre-pipeline, so I was what's called a 900 division.
And what is it now? What is that different from a regular Navy boot camp?
Gosh, how did they decide it? So 900 was kind of like the high ASVAB kids. They were like band members, and they spun rifles, and they stuff like that. So I ended up being a rifle spinner. I didn't play any.
Oh shit, that's awesome!
And so I got to spin rifle. I forget what it's called. And then when you graduate,
like an honor guard type thing,
honor guard kind of thing. Yeah. So when you graduate boot camp, each division has some task that they do throughout the graduation ceremony. So ours was, we had band members, so we played. Half my division played the band, and then the other half did honor guard type duties, flag, rifles. So that was kind of cool. That was a cool skill that I didn't have.
That's really cool.
So I actually really enjoyed being in that division. There was only 2 other special warfare folks in that whole division. Okay. So every morning, the other 2 guys and I had to wake up an hour early and then walk over to the combat pool. And then train with all the other buds, SWIC, buds, rescue swimmer, candidates. Then we walk back and fulfill the rest of our regular kind of Navy boot camp day.
Yeah. Like fold the shit out of underwear.
So yeah. Oh yeah. We could square up a pair of underwear any day.
Damn
of the week.
right.
So,
I still have a gig line. I check even with a t-shirt since boot camp.
I swear, man, I still check my gig line. Sometimes do it. It's a sad thing. It's amazing how ingrained these things become. They figured out how to ingrain stuff into young kids' minds. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, even the little shit too, like the making your bed in the military, but like folding your clothes and stuff in Navy boot camp, because they're, I mean, maybe not the 900 division, but they're gearing you to live on a ship for your life. And like, you have a teeny tiny locker, you have a teeny locker under your rack, and then you got your buddies up and down. So they're teaching that stuff, but that is good stuff to know for later. Did with the screening test kind of easy? Did you pass the first time?
Yeah. All the PST tests. Yeah. Pretty much. I passed all the way through. Passed the first time. Actually, I didn't pass the first. So I went in the very first. Yeah, my very first PST test. I went. I didn't know that you couldn't swim freestyle.
Yeah, you can't.
So I'm swimming the front crawl, right? And the guy pulls me out of the water. I think he let me finish, and he pulls me out of the end. He goes, none of that counted. I said, what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, in his defense, I think it's in all caps and bold print on your contract.
Combat side stroke. I go, what the hell is that?
What the hell are you talking about? Did you know the side stroke with the breaststroke?
Listen, I didn't know. I did not know a single special warfare guy in my life. I didn't have, there was certainly no SEALs, no SWIC, no Green Berets, nothing. I was just, my family was, they were predominantly business owners and businessmen. So military wasn't like a real significant thing. I had an uncle who was in Korea. My other uncle was a submarine lieutenant, Naval Academy guy. Other than that, that was it. I was the only guy. So, I didn't have like nobody to bounce this off of. It was like, I was Googling everything, and that was, and Google had just pretty much just kind of really
just started.
And that was all I had. And Charlie Sheen. And that was
sometimes in life, that's enough. Google.
That is it. Sometimes you don't overcomplicate things, man. Just get enough information and then get on the horse, baby. Let's go.
I had dinner one time at Sheen's house, and I don't drink anymore, but this back when I was drinking, and I called him the next day and I said, "Hey, Charlie, I think I drank an entire bottle of scotch at dinner last night." And his response was, he goes, "I know, that was impressive." And I said, "Yeah, but I'm calling because I want to apologize." And he cut me off and goes, "First of all, don't you ever apologize to Charlie Sheen for anything." He's saying it, but so you freestyle. Then had you been training breaststroke at all? Or I mean, side stroke's a different animal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's, I wasn't much of a swimmer. I was comfortable in the water always, but I didn't have
I'm amazed how many SEALs actually aren't proficient swimmers before buds. I was one of them. It's crazy. There's a lot of dudes and for people that are listening that don't know, this is a test to get orders to buds, and it's not hard. 500 meters in a certain amount of time, breaststroke, side stroke, 42 push-ups, 50 sit-ups. I think it's 6 pull-ups, and then a mile and a half for me, it was dungarees and boondockers, but now I don't know what you guys wear, but
Yeah, I don't know what they. Mine might have been pants and boots too.
Yeah,
but I don't know what now.
But you finished that then A school or right to buds? What'd you do?
I went straight to buds. So we were the first class where they changed from an A school to going contract straight to buds. So no A school for me.
Oh, that's not okay. So then that's when they switched it to the SO
They
rate.
switched it, and I don't know what they do now, but they switched it straight to.
I heard now after the Biden administration, everything's online.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. 12 weeks a tough one. You got to type for 5 straight days.
Yeah, that was
so. You check into which class is that now?
264.
So that's 2006 then, right?
2006. Yeah.
See that really quick math. I went to 208 in my class and quick did a couple seasons. Was that were you like everyone a winter hell week or how'd it go?
It was winter hell week. Yeah.
Of course. So what's as opposed to first day in the gym, first day in the octagon, first day of buds, go.
Oh God, man. Which first day of buds? I mean,
let's do both. Let's do.
All right, let me just tell my pulling onto Coronado Island story.
Fuck yeah, that's
let's actually. Let's go back. Let's go back to boot camp for a second.
Oh fuck yeah, take me there.
So we finished boot camp, and we must have had 3 weeks, maybe. I don't know for sure of like a span before we were getting shipped down to Coronado.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just living in the BOQ. And me and this other guy get this bright idea that we'll do a Diddy move.
So I know what that is. Yep.
So it's a do-it-yourself move, and the Navy will pay you to move yourself. Once. So we get this great idea. We're going to do a Diddy move.
That's a brilliant idea, by the way.
Rather than just jump, they would bus us over to O'Hare International Airport in Chicago and then fly us to Coronado, right? And we just get on another bus and end up in Coronado. We got the brilliant idea. We'll do a Diddy move. We don't have anything to move, but we'll get paid for this. We'll buy our own flights to Las Vegas.
Oh shit! This is awesome.
And then this guy had an uncle who had a car, and we'll take his car and we'll drive it to Coronado, and then we'll have a car. Really good idea, right?
It seems great. The E3 in me is thinking fantastic idea.
Isn't that
the senior chief is telling you fucking no way. Are you kidding?
Yeah, right.
But
so
anyway,
we
please
decide we're going to risk it all on this crazy endeavor. So we get the Diddy move. We fly into Vegas. We party for a couple of days. We grab this guy's. He's got this lifted Jeep Cherokee. Yeah, it's like 50 inches lifted, and we drive this thing into Coronado. We go over the bridge. Both of our first times in in San Diego and in Coronado. Drive over the bridge. We're supposed to check in at 10 p.m. It's about 9 o'clock at night as we're driving over Coronado Bridge. And we decide, let's take a spin around the island and check some things out. We end up on the beach at some surfer party.
That's cool.
And we about 15 minutes until check-on time, we roll into the quarterdeck at NAB and check ourselves in at about 10 p.m. And we are the 273rd and the 274th student in our class, the last two students. There's a 274 person.
And I'm sorry, what day of the week is it?
This is Sunday night.
So, Sunday night, 10 p.m. So it's you're okay. Gotcha.
It's 10 p.m. Sunday night, and supposedly we start on Monday morning.
Yeah, that's a giving yourself a lot of window there.
So we took it all the way to the very end.
Right on. And then, so you're there. Did they put you in the barracks that night?
So they put us in the barracks that night. Next morning, we ended up, there's a couple of weeks of orientation.
Yeah, good. Well, good.
Right. Of course, we didn't know that. We don't know that. We're just thinking we're starting buds tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. We're rolling in at 10.
2 mile time swim, first thing.
We had no idea, but that's what we thought. So it was quite a relief to realize, we're just going to kind of dick around for about 3 weeks and just kind of get acclimated and kind of figure out the lay of the land. So the next day wasn't bad. I'd say, the first day, what do you think? What are the big key
like the
days?
one day is just the scary PT. Is it a 0-4 PT?
Yeah, 0-4 on the grinder.
Just because you're getting hit for the first time. Overwhelming instructors. I think they have all 3 phases of instructors hit the phase 1 class, and it, as you know, just complete chaos, loud, scary, and that's. I was
just telling my son. He was asking me about it, and the layout of that compound, right? And there's only one little entrance in and out, and that entrance leads to one spot, the berm into the ocean. There's only one way in, one way out.
And it goes to one place.
So what happens with, and I was telling him about ducking instructors, right? I got my dick in the dirt, and you're just watching to see when the instructor turns around and walks away, and he goes, "What happens when you get caught?" I was like, "Well."
So I'm going to take a second now to talk about the sponsor of this segment of the show, Hollow Socks. I've talked about them before. I don't know if you know this about me. I have a history of being outside. We used to work outside quite a bit. I used to hunt before I was a Navy SEAL, but as a Navy SEAL, we worked outside. So I'm talking about hunting and then sealing it up, hunting Navy SEAL, and then doing what I do now, hunting trips and going outside, whatnot. But I've noticed too, like going back home to hunt, I'll notice my buddies on their gear with their bows. They'll spend like $3,000 on a bow or whatever, but then forget their socks and buy like $2 gas station socks, stuff like that. And you're going to miss a shot. If your feet have turned into hamburger on the hump in, and then you're trying to maintain, you're still or you're cold, trying to maintain your base in your feet, and you got crap socks, you're probably going to miss. Everything you're spending money on, from the license you're getting, the scent stuff, the bows, the arrows, the boots, you got to get the right socks, and that's where Hollow Socks comes in. They're alpaca socks built for the field. High performance socks made from I'm talking like soft baby alpaca fibers, the best you can touch. They feel incredible. They're amazing. They're warm, but they're lightweight. They're supportive. They'll keep your feet dry. Even if you're just hiking up a hill, up a mountain, or getting to your tree stand or your stalking, you're going to be warm, you're going to be comfortable, you're going to be dry. Whatever you're doing, they're made in the USA. I mean, that right there's got to tell you got to get them. Plus, there's over 2 million pairs of these have been sold. And once you wear Hollow Socks, you will not, you're not going back to any other sock. They got everything at Hollow Socks: the everyday socks, hunt socks, compression socks, trade socks. No matter what your day looks like, if you're working, you're training, going to the gym, relaxing, there's a Hollow Sock. It's built for you. For a limited time now, pay attention. Hollow Socks is having a buy 3, get 3 for free. Buy 3, get 3. 6 pairs of socks. Head to hollowsocks.com today. HOLLOWSOCKS.com. Hollowsocks.com today. And check it out. Hollowsocks.com. You're going to get 50% off your order. Buy 3, get 3 free. After your purchase, they're going to ask you who sent you there. Obviously, the operator sent you there. Keep your feet dry. Keep your feet where you need them to be. Hollowsocks.com. Get yours.
You don't want to get caught. Did you ever get caught? I was like, oh, yeah, lots of times. Yeah. What happens when you get caught? He goes, you're hitting the ocean and you're coming back wet and sandy.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you get used to, you do that a lot too. But I didn't get scared of the loud and thunderous bullshit, because like my first thoughts of my first PT is like, well, shit, we're going to be at breakfast in 2 hours. This isn't that bad.
Yeah.
And just go to breakfast. Okay. So class 264, just, can you describe me like an average day of first phase?
Yeah.
Waking up till going to sleep.
Yeah. You're waking up at 5 a.m., let's say 5 a.m., right? We're mustering up, probably a little earlier than that, mustering up at some point, and before 6 a.m. and you're 6 a.m. on the grinders, right? First phase is meet on the grinder, head counts, and then we do a PT, right? 6 a.m. PT. I guess Monday mornings we do a run, 4-mile timed run.
Yep. We do the time run off the bat.
So a time run off the bat.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. We do some, beachfront log PT, boat PT. Eventually we go to breakfast. After
which is
breakfast,
about a mile away too.
It's about a mile away, right? And you run
6 miles of running a day just to eat your meals.
Just to eat. That's it. And just like you said, there's always a meal somewhere in the midst of it. So they can only take you for so long. At some point, they have to feed you. At some point, the day has to end. So at some point, the evolution has to end. But I mean, we do in the morning. We might do a log PT, do a lunch, come back. We do boats, and then go to dinner. Sometimes we'd have some stuff after dinner.
Yeah. What did you have trouble with any particular evolution? Because there's tests every single day for different.
Yeah, every evolution was hard.
Okay, good.
I was a terrible runner. I got decent at running over time, just because you have to run. It's like Dave Goggins said, if you want to run faster, well, then just run faster. There's nothing else to it. You want to run farther, just run farther, run more. And you don't have a choice. You're forced to run 6 miles if you want to eat every day.
That's it. Yeah,
you're gonna get better at running. as long as you don't break or quit.
Seriously, that's it. Don't step in a hole and get unlucky, and don't break. Yeah, that's it. And running, you're going to get better. Same with pull-ups. I was shitty at pull-ups.
Everything.
The way you get better at pull-ups is just fucking do pull-ups.
I was terrible. I didn't even know how to swim side stroke when I started the whole thing. And by the end, I was, pretty darn good swimmer.
Yeah, I got better. They should have, I think if they don't now, they should have at some point instructors that can teach you how to swim, like swim lessons for some guys. But
wouldn't that be nice, huh?
Nah, that's how team guys think, though.
I had a guy. I wasn't going to pass the 2 mile swim. I had failed my first two in first phase. So
no shit. That's a bad start.
My time was almost over. Right. My bud's career was about to end. And a guy and this really elite swimmer, this super stud linebacker football player said, "Dude, I will. I'll swim with you. I'll swim buddy you." And he pretty much drugged me the whole way. I didn't know how to guide was my real problem. I just, I went like this across the ocean.
Yeah.
I probably swam 6 miles.
Can you just for people who haven't been there, explain what guiding is on what a 2 mile swim is, how it starts, how it goes, how it finishes?
So 2 mile, it's an open ocean swim, right? So we're in the open ocean. There's no lanes. It's not a pool. There's nobody there to keep you in a line. So the only way you can make sure you swim in a straight line, which is the shortest distance from the beginning to the end, is you have to, as you swim, you have to take a look at the shoreline, and you keep one eye on the shoreline the whole time, and then you make your adjustments. That way you don't swim left and right or out to the ocean too far, and they'll let you swim a really,
you can
trust
you
me,
can
a really long way before one of them feels sorry for you and says, "Hey, bud, you maybe ought to take a look at where you are."
You're going to fail this swim.
Yeah. So you have to figure that out. And so I swam with this guy, and he basically, he guided the whole way, and I just kept up with him, which is helpful and a lot easier, but I just watched the way he did it. And I figured out on that 2 mile swim how to guide myself. And then, I never failed another one after that. And in fact, I actually returned the favor, and I drug a guy on the 6 mile ocean swim.
Oh God, that's a good time.
Yeah. I had to literally drag this kid the whole dang way, almost.
Yeah, that's dude. The water out there too.
But it's not his fault, man. He went, he went semi-hypothermic. I mean, his body locked up and his muscles were locked
up. That's all. I mean, so the 5.5. That's when you're talking about the 5.5 nautical is about 7.1 mile swim. Which,
it's even farther than I remember.
It is. We got it. My class did it twice. We did it twice in 4 days.
Yeah. Mine did it 3 times.
Fuck it. I'm done talking about the swim. What was Hell Week like? Tell us about Hell Week.
Yeah, Hell Week's terrible, right? But I remember when I think about Hell Week, it reminds me of that, like the day before, the day of the first fight, right? You're sitting in this room, and they got the whole class is sitting in a room. You maybe ate some pizzas or something like that, and you're just waiting. You think it might go off at 2 in the afternoon, 3, 4, 5, 6, night falls, and all of a sudden, 9 p.m. you're starting to fall asleep, and then they kick the doors in. It's almost like they were psychologically fucking with us.
It's almost like that.
Seems like,
you know what? The only time I thought about quitting in Hell Week was right after breakout when we were doing the whistle drills. Do you remember those?
Yeah,
dude. Just one whistle is stop and 2 whistles is crawl or some shit like that. How simple is that?
Yeah.
And they just did it for like 4 hours. Fuck this, man.
I forgot about that one. That is a good one.
No, it's like I didn't quit, but I'm like, we're gonna do this until fucking Friday. We're doing this. Probably they could do that, do whistle drills from Sunday to Friday, and it would suck just as bad.
They could do anything. I mean, literally, they could do anything to us, and you'd probably get the same exact.
Just being awake like that. I think at some point you'll eventually. I was convinced my long-term goal for Hell Week was Wednesday morning when the sun comes up, and I was convinced in my head that the instructors might just start pushing you forward because it feels like you're getting beaten, but at some point it's just keeping you upright. I think so. Yeah, I think they could just keep you awake for 5 days, and I think you'd still get 80% would quit. And we just did nothing. You just sit there for 5 days, no sleep. That's it. That'd be harder. Well, because I had a difficult time too. Did they have you guys sit in the room and write letters about? They had us write a letter about something. And but they turn the heat up. And
where is that? Where are those letters at?
I had mine somewhere. I I don't know what they had us doing, but I wrote something about I wanted to be a polar bear because I'd be as pasty white as I am now, and I could handle the cold better or some shit. I don't know.
Good. That's logically sound. I like it.
Yeah. But no,
yeah,
how about it?
I almost quit. Well, the one time I wanted to quit was after we woke up from the nap.
That is a hard. The two things that are hard in Hell Week is waking up after a 15-minute nap, and then I think what they did for us is they let us use the shitters at the pool, knowing there are showers in there. And I think if guys went in the hot showers, that you're going to quit after that. I think those are the two times I think that you would be tempted. Yeah, the waking up after a cat nap it's almost like not even going to sleep.
It was the worst. I tried not to, but after I peed myself and I was warm, I went right to sleep.
Yeah. But it's what happened after they secure for you guys? What you guys? How was that when it's over? Did you realize?
You're so messed up, right? So the first thing I did was, of course, your senses are all messed up. So I ate a bunch of hot cheese pizza.
Yeah,
burnt the shit out of my face and my mouth and everything. But I didn't even know it at the time. You're just a mess, man. I got my brown T-shirt, right? It's just what's better than that.
Yeah, you get the brown T-shirt after Hell Week. That is something too. When just for people who haven't been there, again, when you're rolling around Bud's, you'll see dudes with white T-shirts and brown T-shirts, and the brown T-shirt means been through Hell Week. White T-shirt means you're probably not going to make it.
Rob, isn't it just so crazy to think that we did all of that? Like, I mean, that life feels like it didn't even exist. It
can't be real. There's no way that happened. I just
feels
know
like
about
it never happened. It's so bizarre. Like, just all of that went on, and we did all of that.
Well, all that stuff too in a not 8-month period, because you do. The PT is enough for a lifetime, but then you get into diving. And then within 7 weeks, you learn open circuit, closed circuit, scuba, bubbleless and not bubbleless, all that shit. Then the explosives. Anything. Let's talk about second phase. Anything cool or not uncool? Pool comp stories?
Yeah, well, second phase is pool comp. So you get to
no one really knows about that shit.
Drown proofing. You tie your hands behind your back, right? You got a bob. You learn how to swim with your hands tied and your feet tied behind your back. All kinds of. You do open circuit. Start off open circuit. Pool comp, they rip your mask out of your mouth. You go down to 12 feet, rip your mask out of your mouth. So now you got to do this all on breath hold. They tie your hoses up, undo all your straps, take your scuba tanks off, right? All of this stuff. And then you got to do it all on that one breath hold, put it all back on, don your gear perfectly. Yeah, the whole procedure, right? And it's all procedural, right? You got to take the steps, got to do it right. And this guy just floats there and looks at you and watches you the whole time.
And then he beats your ass.
Whether you do it right or wrong.
And it's just the water too. Is I found that's what just adds pressure. It adds self-doubt. The panic factor. I mean, everything you got to figure. If you're panicked on compressed air, and you might just forget to put your lips on the bottom of the pool, and that's enough to fail right there.
Yeah.
Just the procedure.
I even forgot that's something that's part of it. Yeah, it's just such a wild thing. So did you fail? I failed the tread. So
get the fuck out of here, really?
Yeah, man. It was the hardest thing that I ever did. I literally died. I didn't literally die, but in my opinion, I died.
I'm going with died. What is it? The tread is how long is it?
Tread's 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Hands out of the water.
Hands out. 12-pound weight belt. Hands out of the water. Fins on. You just got to kick like this, right? There's no butterfly kick or anything like that. I just underestimated it. Honestly, I just felt like I was working on all the other things, pool comp, all of these drown proofing. I was practicing this stuff, and I was pretty proficient in it all. And I just had thought that's going to be easy. The tread's easy. It shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, I forgot
and I didn't put
the
time in. And it was the worst, one of the worst experiences of my life. I mean, I was dying within a minute. I got in confident, felt great, started kicking. Within 1 minute, I go, I'm not going to fucking make this thing.
Dude, yeah, I remember getting there and I was like, I'm just going to kick until I die. And if I die, at least that's a fucking ending and training's over.
Yeah. That's how it ended up
about
for me,
that
And so it just got so terrible, right? And then, now I got my hands in and I'm looking. It's very embarrassing to think about. Now I'm flopping my hands around and I'm asking the instructor, "Okay, come on, are we done yet? Will you let me go to the side of the pool so I can quit?" And of course, he wouldn't. Which that I didn't. Hey, I didn't plan for that. I thought that, all right, I'm just gonna get out of the pool and I'll try again. The next day. So I swim to the side of the pool and he goes, "Oh no, buddy, you're out here for 5 minutes and that's that." And he pushes me back out there and you get your fucking hands out of the water.
So you pass on that one though.
So I passed. I never passed. Right. I failed. And so now I'm just like this. The water's just like this, and I just get up just enough to take one tiny little sip, back down, kick. You know, and the time's whittling away, and I actually thought, maybe if I die, then he'll.
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe if I die, then he'll pull me out of the water, right?
Yeah,
He'll send me to the side of the pool, and so I decided that I was gonna just freeze like this and just float to the bottom of the pool. And this instructor just followed me down, and my eyes are open, and I just kind of did my best, like dead possum sort of, look. And he follows me down, and he's about this far away from me, from my face, with his mask on. I can see his eyes, but I'm trying not to look at him. I'm kind of looking off into the distance, like I had just passed. And and I see it. He's all, he's got a serious look, and then all of a sudden I just see him smile, and his eyes. I go, oh shit, he's not buying this at all. So I gave him one last push back to the surface. He wasn't going to save me. It was either
you're going to watch you drown, and then
he's going to let you drown, and you're going to pass out.
Yeah,
then he'll pull you up, and they'll revive you on the side of the pool. That's what you signed up for. I mean, you may not like it, but that is the level of accountability that you signed up for. Sorry, my friend. He's like, you can't just come here and play around and just, when I don't want to do this anymore, you don't worry, son. We'll get you out of it. He's like, you decided to do drown proofing, kid, and now you're either going to drown or you're not going to drown. That's your two options.
See, that's so. I'm having conflicting thoughts about that, because the SEAL in me is like, yeah, let him drown. He'll learn. But then the second one is like, what the fuck are you thinking? What if he drowns?
I mean, I don't know. Statistically, I think you're not
a lot of guys drown there, especially in first phase. Then they just revive you.
And then they revive you. Right. And I don't know if that's okay, and they should be doing that either.
I don't even know if that's in the Geneva Convention. So who knows?
Yeah.
What about third phase? Anything cool there? Anything out of the order? Because you got, obviously, we'll get into the breaches playbook, but anything explosives immediately get you, or just well, I mean, you're in Chicago, so I'm assuming you had at least handgun experience.
Yeah, no, I have very little weapon experience. So, but the crazy thing about buds and the whole pipeline, I think, is you don't even touch a gun until third phase. You don't even fire a weapon. You don't even touch a weapon until. You're close to 2 years in the Navy at that point.
Yeah. And even, I mean, I remember checking into SEAL Team 2 after Buds. Like, I didn't really know what a SEAL did. That's what so Buds.
Third phase kind of gives you, starts to give you a decent idea about
sort of. I mean, like, you could maybe patrol in single file, but you're not clearing a house or a ship.
No, you're not doing any of that, right? You're shooting in a straight line. Yeah.
I mean, it is too. I mean, it is it's basic underwater demolition SEAL training. It's just basic training. It's good, but you got what'd you get? What was?
Well, we went to we go to San Clemente Island, which that's
that's right.
That's where, like, you kind of all of a sudden at that point you realize there's nobody supervising us out here.
Oh, that's where you get your ass
can do whatever they want. We are on an island in the Pacific Ocean, and
I thought that was the worst part.
I love
Buds. Did you really?
I love it out there. Yeah.
Like what was your favorite? Well, I mean, it is cool, I guess.
It is cool. I enjoy it, just like
water's gorgeous.
Of course, that we're getting to shoot. You're starting to get to blow things up. You're starting to shoot a little bit. I love patrolling. I just love being out. And I love orienteering. So the whole problem solving of orienteering to me is awesome. I enjoy finding my way, utilizing a map, topographical map, and how do you get to where you need to get, right? It's just like all the things we're doing. How do I get into an MMA ring, right? How do I get my first octagon fight? How do you get to play football at Northwestern? How do I become a Navy SEAL? How do you get to SEAL Team 6? Like, it's all orienteering. You got to look at the map of life, and you got to figure out how do you get there. And so I just really enjoyed, that was the first time we got to utilize those kind of what I thought were going to be our Navy SEAL skills. So that was a good time.
And what did your dream sheet look like, as far as, because I know with me, they pick your coast. You want to go East Coast, pick 284. If you want to go West, 135, or how did that work?
Yeah, I wanted West Coast, so I got Team 1. So that
What'd you
worked
think
out
when
well.
so let's talk about first days again. First day checking in team one. Now, because you got to figure Chicago for life and then boot camp and then San Diego buds and then team one. What's the first day of team one like?
It was cool. Terrifying again, right? I mean, every step of the way is pretty damn terrifying.
Yeah.
I remember walking into just the platoon space, being assigned a locker. I mean, it's all surreal. Like, you're like, I can't believe that I'm actually a Navy SEAL.
Right. What were the guys like? Because team one's got a reputation for being old school and hard.
Yeah, they were no fun one at the time.
Yeah.
I thought we had a lot of fun though, so I don't like that. Yeah,
I see the stuff I look back on from team two, which is the similar reputation. I look back on the hard shit that we did together. We had the Tuesday morning ocean swim, regardless of the weather. And in February, that sucks in Virginia, but the bus ride to get there with the guys, man, that's my favorite part of SEAL Team 2 right there. That and the gut truck.
Yeah, the gut trucks are great too. Yeah, well, one of the very first days, our chief he would do what's called prison workouts. So team one, it was like a prison weight room. It was underneath the building. It was all old steel and iron weight benches and equipment. And so we go down there and we just lift heavy shit. I mean, to me, it was really enjoyable. I liked that kind of training. Some guys were different though. I like to lift. A lot of guys were endurance type athletes. There were swimmers and runners and guys like that. So that was different for them. But we had this group that we just do hard workouts. And so I just thought that was,
Yeah. Oh, it is.
So team one, it was cool.
Yeah. Well, because team five's out there surfing.
Yeah. Team five is surfing. Yeah.
They admit it. That surf team five. And that again, I mean, the hardcore workouts, prison, that's great. And for the surf shit, for morale, camaraderie, everyone's got their own shit. What the platoon, your first platoon, where are you gonna, what year is your first platoon?
2008 was first platoon, SEAL Team 1 Alpha Platoon.
And so you're going to Iraq.
We were going to Iraq. But we augmented Damneck. So we augmented and went to Afghanistan. So my first deployment was to Afghanistan with 6. Yeah.
Which squadron?
Red.
Shit, was I there? What year is that?
2008. 2008.
Yeah. I was in Asadabad, I think, in 2008. So I might have missed you, but I knew you were there.
Yeah.
I had some shit going on in Asadabad. Got to go bomb Pakistan real quick.
Yeah, I know you guys were getting after it, man. That was one cool experience, though. I really enjoyed that.
What was that? I mean, that's kind of cool because my first platoon, I didn't think SEAL Team 6 existed until I ran into him doing security in Albania. What was it like working with Red Squadron?
Yeah, it was the coolest thing. So we flew into Damneck, and then we spent a week there. We trained in some of your guys' facilities, and we got
nice,
to play the land. Yes, it was. I mean, it's just like I became so tainted somewhat by that. But it was just to go from. So I'm literally like within 3 years, I'm going from I'm this kid in Chicago area to now I'm operating in Afghanistan with SEAL Team 6.
That's cool.
It's pretty fucking cool, man.
Yeah. And so did you get some missions over there?
Yeah. So we got quite a few things.
If I remember correctly, that right around that time frame, Afghanistan, Kandahar, like we're fucking people up down there.
Yeah, but we were in I was in Kaust.
Kaust is a place where it's off the grid, man. That's a Wild West, and if you get in the shit there might not be anyone coming for you.
Yeah, we were way the hell out there. We were a mountaintop in some little Afghanistan camp. It was interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm just, this is my first go. I'm wide-eyed. I'm excited.
Dude, that's a great first deployment.
God, dude, I was just loving everything about it the whole time. I was so pissed that it ended, at some point.
What's something that stood out on that deployment that some of you either expected or didn't expect about Afghanistan?
So we were walking, we were setting up, setting up kind of ambushes in the mountaintops and border between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and then which leads down into Kaust. So we would spend these long nights just sitting on top of the mountains, and the Afghan, we're on comms, and so everything's amplified, so you can hear every single little tiny movement, that you do. And these Afghanis, dude, they would just sit perfectly still all night long, sitting on the hardest fucking rocks in the whole wide world, and I'm just fresh coming from and SEAL Team 1, and I'm sitting out here and I'm like, dude, we're in the real fucking world. And right now, all I can think about is this rock that is sticking in my ass right now. The ability to overcome even something like that after everything we've done, I was having the hardest damn time to not let this rock fucking bother me. I mean, it takes some serious fortitude, man. They were tough. So,
well, they grew up on those mountains.
They grew up sitting on those rocks. Yeah.
Did when I want to get to Breacher's Playbook. When did you go to Breacher's school?
I came back after Afghanistan. So, we went to Afghan, then I went to Iraq, and then after Iraq, I went to Breacher School.
Okay, because I'm assuming you're doing hits where you need to know how to build bombs and build charge and stuff like that before Breacher School. Is that because well, the way we did it at Team 6 was you got your. I mean, we trained everyone up to be a breacher. But the breacher's job mainly was to make sure everyone knew how to be breachers. Did you guys run it the same way? Like as far as, because you got to construct the charges. Everyone should have charges to know if they need to blow a whatever at a certain time.
Yeah, I don't know if we did. I mean, we did that to an extent. Everybody had a pretty good idea of how to build a charge and how to utilize it if it was necessary. But we sent, I don't know, one or two guys from every platoon went to breacher school on the East Coast and were, officially a breacher. I don't know if that's what you're asking.
No, I was just curious because I'm just sort of laying it out. A lot of people know, a lot of people don't. Just you don't go a certain way and then you're just that guy, just the sniper, just the breacher, just the comms guy. But I'm just like the schools because I think breaching is very unique. Shooting, obviously everyone should know how to shoot, but breaching, you can get that skill as a master breacher or just breach or whatever you want to call it. And then you have the ability to teach guys because everybody should be carrying different charges or, chainsaws, quickie saws. Even if you don't know how to use them, you should be able to carry them so the breacher can use them and then he can actually instruct you how to do it. That's what I was thinking. If you think any different than that.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody has in the teams has some proficiency in everything. I mean, even, comms, if you're not a comms guy, you still got to know how
you should.
You better
that's the one thing that if you don't know how to do, you really should because your radio is more important than your gun.
I mean, you really ought to, I mean, in crypto is not the easiest thing to figure out, so, you better figure that. You're not going to figure that out in the field. So you better know. You better know it now. I'm learning.
Yeah, that's one of the things too. You want to know and then make sure your guys just know how to do it and then test them like pop quizzes. So we keep mentioning the Breacher's Playbook. And James, do you or Tom, whichever, do you want to explain how we got there? Because I want to get into the story without just talking about how awesome we are.
James, go ahead, will you please?
Well, I think it was 2014. I was working on a book about an older college football player, a novel, and I had a sports bar and restaurant in Evanston, Illinois, right next to Northwestern University. And so I didn't play college football, and I had known Pat Fitzgerald, the head coach at Northwestern, for a number of years. And I asked him if I could go to training camp. They had a 10 or 11-day summer training camp in Kenosha, Wisconsin every summer. And Fitz said, yeah, come on up and shadow me on the sideline for a couple days. And he was super, very cool. Went up there. And while I was there, he said, you should talk to Tom Ruby. You know who Tom Ruby is. And everybody in Evanston knew that there was an active duty Navy SEAL playing for the football team. And I said, oh, hell yeah, I know who he is. And
this part, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this part still blows my mind too about active duty SEAL walks on and it just happens to be you again, Tom. I am interrupting. I'm a notorious interrupter. Sorry.
No, let Tom tell you how he ended up at Northwestern.
All right. This is why I kind of brushed over SEAL training because I think this story is even cooler.
Bro, so it's a crazy story. I mean, it's kind of crazy, I guess. Yeah, when you tell it later on, when it was happening, I just thought like, okay, this is just my next thing. This is what I'm going to do now. Not that big a deal. But when I think back on it and hear the story, I'm like, that is kind of a
Fucking badass.
That is something else, I ended up in Bud's Prep School back in Great Lakes.
Yep.
So I'm an instructor there. Doing a 9 to 5, really even easier than 9 to 5. We had a lot of contractors and things. So I had some pretty good free time. I was starting to look into finishing my college degree. And I was doing some online stuff, utilizing some tuition assistance with the Navy, getting some things knocked out. And so I started looking at a brick and mortar schools, and Northwestern, of course, was right down the street from Great Lakes in Evanston, Illinois. And I also had this sort of like latent desire or dream to play football in college. So I was kind of checking that out. And I also was stationed there, and my chief was Dave Goggins. And we kind of know Dave Goggins' story a bit. He's a little bit eccentric. And
yes.
He said, have you thought at all about playing football at Northwestern? And I said, well, yeah, I have. But, come on, that's unrealistic. And he said, well, maybe it's not.
That's awesome. I love that attitude.
That's about how that went, right? Coincidentally, he was going down to Northwestern football to talk to the team, somewhere around that time, and he invited me to come with him. So we both went down there. He gave a talk to the Northwestern football team. At the same time, I had kind of built my little application package, and I had an opportunity in a meeting with Coach Pat Fitzgerald to ask him if he would have me on the team if I could get accepted to Northwestern. And I handed him a little packet, and he goes, hell yeah, I'd take you anytime. If you can get into this school, you're in.
So
course,
you get in
almost,
Northwestern, and he gives you an invitation to walk on.
An invitation to walk on, right? So of course I didn't even I barely graduated.
At this time, you're 32 years old too, right?
I'm 32 years old. Yeah,
I'm trying to do the math here.
and I'm still active duty, and I have a full-time job. And so I had 3 kids at the time too. So I get to work on figuring out how can I get accepted to Northwestern? What's it going to take, right? So I had to retake my SATs. I had to study and retake those and score, a number. I had to get a lot of letters of recommendation. I had to do all these things, get my transcripts together, and then put my whole application into Northwestern, which, it's not the easiest school to get into. It helped being a Navy SEAL, I suppose. But I was able to get in, got accepted. Called up Coach Fitz, told him, and he said, he goes, we start camp next week. Are you
really?
I said, all right, I'll be there. And that was it. I was now a full-time Northwestern student, active duty, full-time Navy SEAL, and I was on the football team. So
and 3 kids.
And I had a family. Yes.
Well, so, I love how you said it's hard to get into Northwestern, but I was a Navy SEAL, so that helped. That's still hard to get in.
Still hard. It's still hard. It's still hard, right? It still took some work, and Goggins and the guys up at Great Lakes. I mean, I owe them so much.
Awesome.
They picked up so much slack. It was great. They knew I was coming back from being in Iraq and Afghanistan, and so you know how short duty is. Like, we could help you take a little load off. Well, I decided I'd go play football, but they still accommodated what it was that I felt like I needed to do at that time, and so they helped me to do it. They picked up slack, right? We figured out a schedule and a program that would allow this all to take place. Of course, when the Navy, when Fox and Friends found out, and they started calling for interviews, and we started getting these media outlets calling for interviews, and the Navy found out, they weren't very happy about any of this stuff. So eventually we had to, we had to deal with that. And the Navy.
How do you do what? To me, that I try to make sense of that. That seems like great publicity, great recruiting. What was the Navy's problem?
Well, I think that the initial shock was that they didn't know about it, right? So I was kind of. So you can kind of see
that's what I would say to the Navy. I just reverse role and say, well, you're on a need to know basis, and you didn't need to know.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Yeah,
I should have used that. Yeah, that would have been good. That would have cleared everything up really fast. So I I did it. I did an interview with the Chicago Sun-Times, and it was the front page Chicago Sun-Times. So once that hit, then we started getting all sorts of media outlets looking. And when they found out, eventually someone's going to go, hold on, you're active duty and you're doing this. How is this happening? Right. So, a lot of questions got generated. Eventually NSW finds out about this. They start calling up to our command. My Master Chief, dude, had my back from
good.
Very immediate first phone call. I mean, he was pissed and he called me into the office pretty pissed off about all of this.
That's fine though. That's his job to be pissed right now, but then he's got your back.
Oh man, he took care of it.
Can you say who your Master Chief was?
John Clift.
No shit.
Yeah.
Good for him.
It was great, man. Such a great guy. So he took care of it. I mean, and eventually I was able to get back in. They pulled me from the team, so I kind of burned that season. But I was eventually able to get back. So they pulled me out of spring camp that first year. The Navy said you can't do it. But after some time and some negotiating, we were able to agree on I could play. I just can't do any sort of media.
That's fine.
Yeah, and that was fine. That's not what I was doing it for. So it worked out just fine. I got back in. I was able to be part of the next season. I played in the second season. This was 2014 then. The 2013 year was the year that I walked on initially, right? And all that we had controversy. 2014 I played. 2015 we had a 10-win season. 2016.
Is that the year that you beat Notre Dame?
2014 we beat Notre Dame. After that game though, it was that game. And man, I wish I would have spoke a little bit more in that
you did it perfectly. I wish the people listening to this podcast could know what you said there, because that's ballsy. The day after Notre Dame played and lost, and they were feeling it, man. And you got up there, and it's like, well, fuck it, we got a couple seals here. Say some shit,
dude. They were still licking their wounds so bad too.
Yeah, that was you didn't need to hit them with very much to just win that argument.
So after that, I mean, that was a turning point for that team. I felt, right. We were, Northwestern football, has been mediocre mostly, and some occasional really solid teams and seasons here and there, and we were on the brink, obviously, of becoming a really a contending team. We didn't maybe know that at the moment, but that game, right? We watched. I got to pick the movie that we watched the night before. We were in this hotel in Michigan City before we made it to South Bend. We stayed the night. We watched a team movie, watched Warrior. It's Tom Hardy's an MMA fighter, and his brother. He and his brother are like, they end up the two fighting each other for the belt. Alcoholic parent, just a gritty ass movie, right? And so that was the movie I chose. We watched that. I got to give the pregame speech, run the flag. All of this stuff is just. But that was the game, dude, where we came out and we did something that that group of guys certainly had never done before, right? This was the first time we walked into a packed-ass stadium against a ranked team, right? And we took it home in overtime, right? I mean, what the fuck is better?
Dude, how? Okay. Again, just for my own ego, what was that like walking out of the tunnel?
Shit, man. I mean, it's just a wild-ass ride, right? I mean, we're in this locker room, and Fitzgerald comes up with this brilliant plan that him and I and and a couple of these behemoth D linemen are gonna line up right behind us, and we're gonna go out early, like we're not supposed to, but we're gonna stand in a way where Brian Kelly and the Irish have no choice but to like walk this close to us in order to enter the field to start the game.
Fuck yeah.
Fitz knew this whole dynamic, so he set it up that way. We were supposed to be in the locker room, twiddling our thumbs, waiting for our go ahead. He's like, "No, let's go. We're gonna
good
right now. Let's get it going." And we're just growling at these guys, and they come out of the locker room like, "Oh shit! Oh, these guys aren't supposed to be here. What are they doing?" And they know there's a Navy SEAL and they could see me now right here, and I'm just stamping the American flag like this right in front of these guys. I mean.
That's pretty badass.
It was cool. It was a pretty cool experience, right? We run out on the field. I mean, what just the grindest of a game you'd ever imagine. Overtime victory. Just can't beat it, man. Can't beat it.
No, and then leaving like mission accomplished, man. That's cool shit.
Yep. So pretty cool experience. But that game was a turning point for that crew. We ended up probably being, I would arguably say one of the best Northwestern football teams in history. We went 10-win season the next season, bowl game. A whole bunch of those guys were NFL players. Really amazing group of guys.
Before I get into the book, I do need to ask you this because Ohio State's so good this year, and the New York Jets are not good in the NFL. And people are saying Ohio State could beat the New York Jets. I personally think the New York Jets practice team would beat Ohio State by 100 points. What are your thoughts?
Agreed.
Cool.
Agreed.
Yeah, because everyone in the practice squad made it to the NFL, right?
Yeah. Well, and everybody on the practice squad is the best of every college team.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Okay, let's get to the book. Where do we start? Because Northwestern, is that where you guys meeting up?
Yep. We meet up at camp, Kenosha Camp, football camp, Wisconsin football camp. It's kind of reminiscent a bit of like when they send us out to Nyland, right? They take the whole team or platoon or task force, whatever, right? And you go out to Nyland, no distractions, right? You can't go anywhere. Really nothing to do except for pay attention and train.
Yep.
We can always find trouble, but for the most part, right, you're stuck out there. Same thing. Kenosha Camp is just like that. They take the whole team and they transplant you to this little satellite campus school, like a community college campus. And then we just train out there for 2 weeks. I'm out there doing my thing. Coach Fitzgerald comes over and says, "Hey, Tom, I'd like to introduce you to this guy, James Pomerantz. He's an author." And so then, we meet each other, get to talking a little bit. James was writing another story about a character who plays football after he's a little older. So coincidentally, we meet, and he wanted to collaborate and build this character in this story. So that's kind of how we met originally to start this whole thing.
Cool. So James, how do you start that? Do you introduce him to the character, or just get a face-to-face, or how does that whole process start?
Well, we just met. He was busy with practice and making a Big Ten team, and then we ended up staying friends. And Tom has graduated in 2016. Moved back to Crown Point, Indiana, and I would go down there a couple times a year. And he's got a shooting range on his property, and training with a Navy SEAL is awesome. And the story I was working on, I thought was a good story, but his life was 10 times more interesting than my story. But he wasn't, and I asked him if he wanted to do a biography, and he wasn't ready at that point. A lot of things going on in his life. And then I had things going on in my life, and then my wife got sick, and and that was a tough time. And eventually in 22 or 23, I had moved to Scottsdale, Arizona. My wife had passed in 2019. Too young, too soon.
Yeah.
And was back in Chicago visiting my kids. Tom and I had dinner downtown. And he said, "Are you still interested in doing a book?" And I said, "Hell yeah, but I'd rather do a novel and have the protagonist based on your life." And he said, "That's perfect. I'd rather do a novel too."
That's cool. That's a good idea. Yeah.
And it was, as an author, it's so much more fun to write fiction. And then we just collaborated, and I had never written a book with a co-author and didn't know how that was going to go, and ended up staying at Tom's house and taping, 30, 40 hours of, background. And then I had an outline for a book, and I'd give Tom, like an assignment, give me 2,500 words on first day at Bud's, or 3,000 words on first experience in combat, first MMA fight. And then I write the character into these scenes and send the chapter to Tom.
Oh, cool.
And he, "Oh, this is good. This, no, a SEAL wouldn't say that," or
That's an important part right there. That's really cool too, because if a SEAL, especially, or any military guy catches something right anywhere in the book or movie, for that matter, it throws everything off. That's a good way to do it. Yeah.
Well, it worked out great. We had a manuscript in about a little less than a year, and the book came out in January 24. No, January 25. Yeah. And
this is new. So the main character, Declan Novak, am I saying that right?
correct.
And it seems loosely based on Tom. So, but just to explain because as you know, obviously the MMA fighter, Navy SEAL. What do you want to get into the story a little bit? You got a little teaser you want to talk about? What makes
Yeah,
it
sure. I mean, the character Declan's story is based very closely on Tom's life, the first 2/3 of the book. And there's a relationship between Declan and his defensive coach as when he's playing college football, and that's a fictional story. And the defensive coach had just gone through a divorce, and his 6-year-old daughter is taken from him and moves back to Colorado, where the ex-wife is from, and she's in a very abusive relationship. And Tom's coach doesn't know how to fix this. And Declan, as a Navy SEAL, gets involved, and the story just gets fantastic from that point on. And he, well, I don't want to ruin the story for you, but
give us an intro to the exciting part, like when it starts getting gritty, because you got the missing kids. Give me a hook here.
Well, Declan realizes that his days when he got out of the SEAL teams and left the Navy, he realizes that his days of making life and death decisions were not over. And to get this little girl out of harm's way, Declan takes matters into his own hands. And the guy who's abusing this girl is very unhappy at the end of this relationship.
So I'm seeing would you describe it sort of like a Taken vibe mixed with a little Quentin Tarantino revenge type shit?
It's, what are you capable of doing if someone is doing unspeakable harm to a family member or a loved one? And it makes the reader think, what are you capable of doing, and what's justifiable? And Declan takes that to the limit, and through these actions, he actually ends up in the FBI, which is, working with their violent crimes against children squad. And he actually is a recruited special agent. That's never happened in the FBI before.
Right.
And, that part was fun too. We got unprecedented access to Hogan's Alley and the FBI Training Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And the lead instructor at the FBI Training Academy is a former SEAL.
Oh yeah.
And knew Tom and served with him, and that was fun. And that part is fiction in the book, but it's very realistic.
Yeah, but it's based off of true events. Tom, were you able to? Because you're a father, I'm a father, and when James started talking about how creative can you get with someone who's been abusing a child, my mood immediately shifted, and I got very creative in my own head without saying anything. Were you given some operational latitude, if you will, to get creative of stuff that maybe potential enemies might read and have second thoughts?
You got to hope so, right? I mean, that's why we do all of the shit that we do, is hopefully that anybody that at any point has the inkling to harm somebody, some innocent kid in some way, that the things that we do, the people that we are, give them just at least a moment where they think twice about it.
Yeah, good.
And
I love that.
hopefully, if they're wise enough, they decide, I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna go get myself some therapy or something and figure out how to fix this.
Nothing wrong with that.
You know, hey, if that doesn't work and they don't choose it that way, we got our own ways of providing therapy.
We do. And
so,
what's good about being a team guy too is you're not going to have a tough time finding a buddy to join you, or a couple.
Well, that's what's cool. But the story, you know, it describes all of that stuff, all the cool team guy stuff that exists, right? We got buddies that come out of the woodwork to do whatever's needed to be done to help out, and you know, and that's how it would be for us, right? If that's
100%, yeah,
we had to go, you know, if we chose that. But you know, as a father, I have 4 sons. You know, I would do anything for them. Anything at all that was ever needed. I mean, I would give up anything for those boys. And that the book brings about the dilemma of, well, what about somebody else? What about somebody else's kids? Would you potentially risk your freedom, etc., right, to help somebody else's kids in the midst of you've got your own kids and your own family? Like, I mean, what a risk that is to take. And so Declan Novak in the story, the character has to go through that dilemma of trying to determine whether he's willing to risk his family, his kids, his freedom, his, you know, now he's in a stable, normal life. Am I going to go back into this world to help this person and these kids?
Yeah,
you know, of course, he makes the right choice. You know, he makes the choice, to take that risk. But it is a real risk, right? You get caught, you end up in jail, something else. I mean, there's so many things that could happen. But you get to watch this character. It's really just a fun character to watch him mature over the years, and these decisions that he makes leads to the next thing and leads to the next thing, right? And you develop this guy that has, just such a rich number of tools and abilities, and how all of these things grow and become, who he is at the end of book 1, moving into this new character where he's kind of becomes disenchanted with the FBI and the bureaucracy, the red tape, right? He's kind of moving into that realm where he's like, this just doesn't function well, right? The way they operate. And I don't have any idea if the FBI is like this. So total disclaimer, I'm not saying anything about them, but this is how the book and the story goes. He's like, it just doesn't work well. And he's looking now to find a way where he can have the same amount of impact, positive impact on these kids and these people, but in another way. So it's pretty cool what he comes up with in book 2. So, and the things that come to him, right? And so once he starts making these moves, thinking this way, and all of these other people start coming into his sphere of influence, right? And they all become, so until he makes the decisions, a lot of these doors don't open up yet. So you get to watch that and see it in the character.
Yeah, badass. I love the dilemma of someone else's kids, and then the instant for me, the instant reaction was obviously I'm going to do that, but then you do need to weigh the risk. If something goes sideways, if I get killed, if I go to prison, then that's a hell of a dilemma. But I think you know which way you're going to go with it. You know the right thing to do, but the risks are there. You just got to at least justify them in my own head, anyways. Am I wrong?
No, and that's what makes it a fun book and a rich character, is because we get to observe how Declan, goes through that decision-making process. We get to see all of that. So, and those are kind of some of the things where James and I, where it's helpful as a SEAL and James as a writer, that we can bounce these off of each other, right? Because James has this idea sort of that it's just like, oh, that's what it is, I'm going, and off we go. Well, I would be like, well, I got to really think through all of the implications of this, right? Declan's even going to sit back, and it's potential that he might say, can't do this. I've got other things that are equally or more pressing over here. I'd love to go and help here, but can't do it, right? And we got to do that all the time. Overseas, you got to pick and choose what you're going to put your emphasis on. You can't do it all. We can't do it all, even though we would like to.
Oh, would like to, but that's when you get stretched thin.
Yeah.
This is badass. How many books are going to be in the series? I mean, as of right now, because hopefully it just blasts off and you do it forever.
Hopefully, yeah. We're on book 2 now. We're outlining, and we're just going to put together. We're working on the outline for book 2 now. We've got the opening few chapters already written. So book 2 should take us about 6 months. I think we're going to start at the beginning of the year and really crank on it.
Where can everybody get book 1? Where can they get the Breacher's Playbook?
Amazon.com is, the most popular place. The publisher is Tactical16, Tactical16.com.
And I'll have these up too. They're up right now.
Sure.
What would you prefer if you want to send people to Amazon? What's the best way? What's the best way for you?
Tactical16.com.
Cool.
We make more.
We're gonna send them there, and everybody listening to this is gonna buy the book right now, aren't you guys?
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the plan. What let's so I'm gonna send them to Amazon.com. What we're gonna get we'll have all this is gonna be up right now, obviously. What would you like people to take away from this book, James? What should they anticipate and what should they take away? Is it going to be the same thing?
Yeah, anticipate a ride that starts on page 1. There's a little intro page that Declan has written, and when you read that, you're like, I'm in.
Page 1. They're going to get hooked on page 1.
Yeah. I am fucking in on page 1.
Okay.
Excuse my French.
Shit! You come on. We're good here. You can do whatever you want. I'm not even wearing pants. You just can't see that low.
Either, man. That's great.
Yeah. So, it's you're hooked. As an author and as a reader, I love picking up a book that hooks me on the very first page. And
I'm not a fan of a book where I gotta get in a quiet area and just absorb shit. I want the hook. That's badass. Page 1. I'd love to hear that.
Oh yeah, and then you've got some blurbs on the back cover of SEAL teammates from Tom and some media people.
I'm actually looking at those right now. There's a lot of good reviews here.
Yeah, the reviews have been great. It's a story that follows a path where the reader is like, yeah,
good. No, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Are they gonna? Is there? I know what we're getting into, and I'm not trying to ruin anything. But at what? So page 1's the hook. At what page do they start cheering after they've been crying for a while? When's it get good? Like it's just cheering the whole way.
Yeah, you're cheering from Declan. As he's an MMA fighter, you cheer for Declan to make it through buds. You cheer for him in combat and playing football. And then when he takes on his friend's daughter's case, then you can't put it down.
That's awesome. I love it. You gave me a copy. I've already read it. I'm trying to figure out what your favorite part is. Tom, what do you think? What's hooked from the beginning? I don't want to ruin favorite part because I don't want to get into it, but
my favorite part is a barroom scene in Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Okay.
Between Declan and the antagonist.
I'm writing
the
that
child
down
abuser.
Right now. Okay. And Tom, what about you? What's your favorite part?
Yeah, I love that too. The book is, if you've ever wondered how to, what it felt like and what it took to become a mixed martial artist, an octagon, and what it felt like to be in an octagon, it's in the book. If you ever wondered what it was like to go to Buds, it's in the book. If you ever wondered what it's like to go to Afghanistan, it's in the book. If you ever wondered what it was like to deal with an alcoholic father, an abusive alcoholic father, that's in the book. You ever wondered what it was like to get sober after 20 years of drinking? It's in the book. You ever wonder what it was like to have a spiritual awakening and learn how to meditate and pray? and speak to God and love yourself again. It's in the book, man. You ever wonder what it was like to save a little girl from abuse? It's in the book. All of these things, it's all in, it's just, there's so many things. And you wonder what it's like to go to the FBI Academy. It's in the book. We had an opportunity, James, to write a really cool damn story.
That's fucking awesome.
I love those. But personally, chapter 13 is my favorite. It's to me that actually is the crux of the whole story. The whole point of this book is to watch a man go from being a child to understanding everything about himself, his life, his parents, where he came from, all the stuff that makes him who he is, right? And then make a decision from that point on how he's going to proceed. It's just a cool 13 tells the story of who Declan decides on his own without, any unconsciousness involved, who he's going to be with the rest of his life.
Yeah, that sounds sick. I love the way you described that too. If you want to know how this was, if you want to know getting in the octagon, if you want to know the first year, like we talked about during this podcast, I mean, that's just cool too. And I love that because it's fiction, a novel, but not really. So that you're going to get some really good shit out of the Breacher's Playbook. That's sick, man. I love that. So we told them where to find it. Go to tactical16.com for sure to get that. And then we're going to be waiting. There it is. Breacher's Playbook right there. Thank you for holding that up, James. We're sending everyone there. Everyone's going to read it. We're going to get sales up. So anything else you guys want to hit before we close? I really appreciate you guys joining me today, by the way. Thank you.
Rob, this was great, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Wonderful conversation. It was so good to talk to you. Always love it.
Oh,
can I ask you a question?
Fire away, man. Let's do this.
I think everybody knows that you were involved in a pretty high profile case. And when that came to a close and you realized what happened, were you so wrapped up in the mission, or did you actually understand we just killed Osama bin Laden?
Yeah. Oh, I assume that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
No, after that, it was a realization of, well, shit, we're still alive. Let's find some intel and get the fuck out of here. No, that was the bin Laden raid was too one of the things where if you accept death, just see what happens tonight. But then the hard part was, well, now we got to survive a helicopter flight home. And if we do, shit, I got to pay off these sunglasses I bought because I maxed out my American Express.
Going into that mission, did you think it was one way?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why it was. That's why there was. It was kind of just easy. I was with my guys, so there's no reason to be afraid. It wasn't the anticipation of getting home until it started to click in. But yeah, it was something. But again, just being with the guys and knowing this is what we trained for. It's like going toe to toe with someone. So it was. Every day's a blessing since then.
God, man. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful.
Thank you guys for coming. We'll do a follow up though. We'll do a current events. There's no shortage of that with all the wars going on and whatnot. We can talk about that. But this is out now, so it's exciting. And thanks for joining me on the podcast, guys. Appreciate it.
One more question, Rob.
Yeah.
Hey, this is from my son. What weapon did you use?
H&K 416.
Thanks, brother.
Whoa. I think that's a kick-ass idea of writing a novel, but it's based on your life story or something cool that you've done before, because you can. Wow. I mean, you can even get. I think Richard Marcinko did that with Rogue Warrior. You don't even need to go through the approval process. If you're military or government of any sort and you write a book, I recommend getting it approved through the powers that be. But this is badass, man. The Breacher's Playbook. That's really cool because Tom Ruby has a really, really unique story. I mean, I always dig talking to dudes that when their least interesting thing they've ever done is be a Navy SEAL. That's pretty cool. Because I mean, the wrestling thing in high school is awesome, and then the MMA fighting, and then being a Navy SEAL and walking onto a Big 10, Big 12, is it Big 12, Big 10, fucking Northwestern, dude. Beat Notre Dame. That's cool. And then with James Pomerantz too, I want to get more. I want to get more into the Steven Seagal stuff with the restaurant. They opened a martial arts restaurant's kind of good. I thought my knuckle sandwich joke was good, but it seemed like it bombed. But you tell me in the comments at the Operator Podcast if you don't mind. At Makuya too, but you know. Either way, I don't necessarily read the comments anymore, but that's fine. Yeah, but go check these out. You can get them, like they mentioned, at tactical16.com, tactical16.com to find these. Find it on Amazon too, though. But definitely go get the Breachers Playbook by Tom Ruby and James Pomerantz. That's just a cool story. I like it. Go check it out. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you get the Breachers Playbook at tactical16.com. If you get it there, you know the deal. You're never out of the fight.